So last year, a Nigerian woman in Delaware stabbed and killed her husband. I'm talking about 35-year-old Temitope, who was married to 37-year-old Adebamiro. When the news broke out, his family members said that the man was an excellent man. Many people said that his wife had been cheating on him for years and that she has been using juju on him, that is a black magic. In fact, the wife's sister also said at that time that her sister was sleeping around and smoking marijuana and using black magic on her husband before she killed him. Well, last week, Temitope was sentenced to 4 years in prison for stabbing and killing her husband. The judge apparently found some overwhelming evidence about what had been going on in their home for years. First of all, they found scars on the woman's body from abuse from her husband. Apparently, her husband had been beating her for years, and they also found out that some of the wounds were inflicted on her when she was pregnant, according to doctors' report. Not only that, they found several sex tapes. Apparently, the husband was sleeping with prostitutes, and he would film himself sleeping with prostitutes in his matrimonial home. Apparently, he sent her to Nigeria for her to just go and stay in Nigeria. So the last time that she went to Nigeria, when she came back, she wasn't allowed into her matrimonial home. She stayed in a hotel for 4 days. As a matter of fact, according to her, he told her to go and stay with a pastor in Nigeria, and he already bought the plane ticket, but she didn't go. So she stayed in a hotel for days before she could go into her matrimonial home. And then she was made to sign a postnuptial agreement, an agreement that she has no entitlement to any of his wealth, or should I say their wealth, because they were married for 10 years. He had 6 pharmacies in Philadelphia here in the US, so he was making a lot of money. So he wanted to make sure that she's not entitled to any of the money that he was making. The postnuptial agreement also said that she's not allowed to cry in her home and that she would not have a say in the upbringing of their children, an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. So the agreement said that the nanny is the one that has total control over the kids. Investigators found that agreement that she had signed on the husband's computer. They also found out that her husband, the 37-year-old man, was selling some prescription pills illegally at his pharmacies, making $20,000 each week. Apparently, they've been investigating this man on the issue of selling the drugs for a while. The wife was actually in prison when she learned about the issue of him selling the drugs illegally. She heard by receiving a federal forfeiture notice that the government wants to seize about $300,000 from her late husband. However you look at it, this is a tragic story, and I've been thinking a lot about how we can prevent another of such occurrence in the Nigerian community here in the US. In fact, not just the Nigerian community, because this could happen in any community. I'm especially worried because this is not the first time that such is happening. Not long ago, some Nigerian men here in the US were killing their wives. There was one that happened in California where the husband tied his wife to a car and dragged her around town until her head split open and she died. There was another one that happened in Maryland that the husband shot his wife, and then there was one that happened in Minnesota, and at least 3 Nigerian men killed their wives in Texas. A couple of these guys actually used hammer to kill their wives, and there were some of them that bought guns and they gunned down their wives. A lot of these women were nurses. The main issue is that these women became more successful than their husbands. They started making more money than their husbands, and the husbands felt disrespected. In all of these cases though, there are reports of domestic abuse. Evidently, domestic abuse among us Africans here in the US is something that needs to be discussed. It's something that needs to be addressed, because from what we are saying, when not addressed, some people end up killing each other. I agree that some people are not physically dead, but to be honest with you, some people are emotionally dead. A lot of people are enduring their marriage, and that's not right. You're supposed to enjoy your marriage. So these are just my observations regarding their story, as well as my suggestions regarding domestic violence. Now, it may look like I'm upset, and yes, I am upset, but you guys know I don't know much. These are just like my suggestions. So I don't know the whole truth about this story, mainly because the husband is no longer alive for us to hear his side of the story. And of course, I strongly condemn the fact that she killed her husband. She should not have killed her husband. No matter what was going on, killing him was not the solution. But having said that, I have a real problem with this woman. Like, seriously, why? Why do so many women endure things that they should not endure because of culture or religion? You mean to tell me that a man has been beating you all these years and you did not speak out or get help? He even beat you and wounded you when you were pregnant, to the point where you had to go to the hospital for treatment. Your husband is sleeping with prostitutes. You even saw the sex tapes and you did not report him. According to her, the night that she killed him, the guy had found out that she used her cell phone to take some of the pictures from the sex tape. So according to her, he found out and he got really mad, and then only God knows what happened. Keep in mind, the woman gave 2 versions of what happened that night, so evidently she wasn't straightforward. So you found the sex tapes and you did not report him, and better still, you did not leave, you stayed after watching your husband sleeping with other women. I don't understand that. He made you sign an agreement that you will not raise the children that you gave birth to, and he said that you're not allowed to cry in your own house, and you signed it. Why? Why would anybody do that? And please, I'm not saying that she's innocent. They may have been abusing each other, and she may be the only one that was being abused. I don't know how the situation progressed, but what I do know is that she's not the only woman enduring domestic abuse and covering it up. A lot of women are covering up abuses in their homes. So I like to talk to my ladies today. Please, please, I beg of you. If you're in an abusive relationship, please, you need to value your life and run. Don't wait until you are killed, and don't wait until you kill somebody. If he kills you, life goes on without you. In fact, he may marry another woman when he comes out of prison. If you kill him, how will you tell your children that you killed their father? And of course, you will go to prison. So why are you waiting until something very, very bad happens before you leave? Some people will say, well, you should just stay and pray. Me, I'm saying that if somebody is beating you every night, there is no way you can concentrate even on the prayer. You need to leave first. Go to where you can pray if you want to pray. And I also believe in prayers, but I would never advise anybody to stay in an abusive relationship. Your life is more important than for you to have the title of Mrs. And if it's a guy that is being abused, it's better for you to stay alive than for you to say you have a married status. So I know that it's not easy for someone to just get up and leave, especially for some women that have no resources. The husband did not allow them to work, so the woman may not have any personal money of her own that she could spend in order for her to escape if she's being abused. Some people will say, what if he comes after me and he kills me? That's why you need to have a plan. You need to find an organization that defends and works with victims of domestic abuse, or somebody that you can trust. And it doesn't have to be a family member, because some family members will betray you. They will say, are you not cooking fufu for him? Are you not having sex with him? In fact, in some cases, a total stranger would help you. And you know, I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of African pastors here, they make me mad when it comes to how they handle domestic abuse. Please, men of God and women of God, whatever advice you will not give your own daughter if her husband is beating her up, please don't give it to somebody else's daughter. I watched a video not long ago of a Nigerian lady in a church saying that her husband was beating her up whenever he drinks. And can you believe that the women of God that were on the panel, they were saying there must be something that the woman was doing wrong. And I was like what? And I'm thinking, oh, seriously? This whole idea of a woman has to do something wrong to warrant beatings is so not right. There are women that are doing everything right, yet the man beats her regularly. According to one man, he said that it is to keep his wife in place so that she would know that he's the one in charge. So stop saying that a lady must be doing something wrong. And even if she's doing something wrong, beating her is not right. These same women of God giving advice and these same men of God giving advice, if their own daughter is getting beat up by her husband, the first thing they will tell her is come home immediately. There is no father in his right mind that would let somebody else beat up his daughter. So please, whatever advice you will not give your own daughter, even though you are a pastor, don't give it to church members. This applies to men as well. If your wife is abusing you, you better speak out and get help. Don't say, oh, how do I tell people that my wife is beating me? Hey, my brother, you don't want to die there. A lot of things can be avoided, by the way, if we don't ignore the red signals that we see while we're dating somebody. To the single ladies, if you notice anything in the guy that you are dating, please do not ignore red signals. A lot of women see some things before they get into marriage and they ignore it. The same thing goes for men. If you're noticing something in a lady that you're dating and you know that I cannot live this with for the rest of my life, then don't go into marriage with the person. Too many people think that they can change someone after they are married to the person. No, you can never change anybody. You cannot, because you are not God. And some people will say that they will pray, that their prayer will change the person. He will get born again. He will become a devoted Muslim. No, let me tell you, if your prayer doesn't change him or her before you get married, it will not change the person after you get married. People don't change just because they exchange some vows. If he's controlling while you're dating, chances are he will continue to be controlling after you get married. And it goes both ways. If your opinion did not matter while you are dating, it will not matter after you get married to the person. I've seen men that won't let their wives work once they get in the US, or even let them make friends. They will say just stay home and have kids. And in most cases, they threaten these women with papers. They tell her that without me you can't have your green card or your citizenship, and then she's also afraid. Why would you tell a lady that you love her and then you marry her and make her leave home, leave her family, only for you to bring her here and treat her like crap? Please, my sister, if you are in that situation, you need to get help. You will not get deported for reporting domestic abuse. And then there are some women that will put up with crap because they are getting money. Please, my sister, if you are putting up with abuse because the guy is giving you money after beating you up, the day he will beat you up and kill you, somebody else will spend all the money that he's been giving you. But you know, reading about this story, one thing that bothered me is his family. You know, I keep asking myself, his family, because they said that he was a great guy. In fact, when the story broke last year, they were saying that the woman is the wicked one. They were saying that, oh, she was the one cheating on him and that she was using juju on him, but evidence proved otherwise. And please, I'm not saying that she's innocent. They may have been abusing each other. So while I sympathize with his family for losing their son, evidently he must have been a breadwinner. I don't know if he was the only breadwinner, but he was probably taking good care of them. I mean, he had chains of pharmacies, so I'm sure that he was taking care of his family. So while I sympathize with them for their loss, is it really possible that his family did not know at all how he was treating his wife? Is it really possible that they did not notice anything for 10 years? 10 years of marriage. If you're watching me today, maybe you're not being abused and maybe you are not abusing anyone, but maybe you know of an abuse that is going on. Please don't keep quiet. Please do not keep quiet. Even if the abuser is close to you, please do not keep quiet, because you just never know whose life you are going to save. You may save somebody's life. You may think that the person that is being abused will eventually leave, but what if that person doesn't leave? And what if he or she kills the person that you are close with? We should not condone violence, even if we are benefiting from the abuser. Also, if you are the one abusing your wife or your husband, I feel really bad for you. Like, see, I feel really bad for you that you have to put someone else down before you can feel good about yourself. And abuse is not only physical. Some husbands would tell their wives that you can never be anything important. You will never become somebody. And every day he would abuse her verbally to the point that she starts believing it. And it's also vice versa. Some women will also tell their husband every day that you can never amount to anything. And then some men think that the sky would fall if their wife should become successful or more successful than they are. You know, the Nigerian men that kill their wives because their wives became more successful. Can you imagine that mentality? So if you're watching me today and you're abusing somebody, it may be working for you now. You may think that you have it under control, it's working for your benefit, but let me tell you, it's only a matter of time. Someday you will either be arrested or that person will escape and you will be exposed and everybody will know about your secret life, or you will kill somebody someday even though you didn't plan it. I've heard about husbands that did not plan on killing their wives. It just happened. They were just beating her like they normally would, and then she died, and all of a sudden everybody knew about what had been going on. So you may kill somebody someday, and of course you will go to prison for that, or somebody may kill you if she's been enduring or he's been enduring. The day the person will snap, they may kill you. Either way, it's not going to end well if you're abusing somebody. You may think that the person is stupid, putting up with your crap today, but the day that he or she will snap, they will do something drastic that you won't even see it coming. So why wait and not seek help today? If you're abusing somebody, you can also get help. There are domestic violence centers in every city here in the US. You can go and get help. You will not be arrested if you go and get help. Lastly, let me talk to the single ladies. A lot of men will come home. Some Nigerians will go to Nigeria looking for wives. Please do not be deceived by the fact that he lives in America. You have no idea the kind of life that he's living in America. One man told a woman that he's a medical doctor in America, and then she married him. Getting to America though, she found out that he only cleans the hospital floors. He's not a medical doctor. I'm just saying that don't be deceived by the dollars that he's giving you, or think that once you get to America you've entered into wealth. No, it's not always true. This does not apply to all men, by the way. I'm not saying that all men living abroad are bad. No. So please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that do your research very well. Do your research very well so that you don't become a victim. I really hope you guys will read This American Life Self, written by my colleague Dr. Damages, Rudolph Okonkwo. I talked about this book on my YouTube page. It's titled What African Immigrants Go Through in America. You can buy it on Amazon. If you're living in Nigeria, it has been published in Nigeria as well, because this could happen in any community. It's very unfortunate that the guy died. You know what the judge said? If only this woman came out and reported all the abuse going on in her home, based on the evidence that they found, that the man would have faced up to 20 years in prison. So please stop enduring suffering. You guys not doing much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real.